there's a lot of information that is misleading. And so what I try to do is break things down in a way that is pretty true to the science of animal learning and in a way that's been tested. I've trained thousands of dogs on e-collars at this point. I remember the first time I met one of my mentors, a guy named Bart Bellin. Bart is a Belgian trainer, and he mostly does working dogs and sport dogs. For those of you guys who are not familiar with Bart's work, you should look him up. He doesn't do anything pet-related or behavioral, but it's still very fascinating, very precise work. Now, he hadn't been to the United States in roughly 10 years, and this was his first workshop back in the States, and everybody was very excited because Bart was one of the first guys to start using e-collars, especially in the sport world, and not just use them as a high-level punisher, for instance, if your dog ran off the field chasing a deer. He was using them in a very measured way. He was using them to create and maintain a lot of motivation, and his dogs were extremely precise. If you watch some of the old videos of Bart's work, it's almost like a robot. I mean, his dogs were intense and precise to the inch. So he was known as this e-collar guy, and the seminar was marketed by the gentlemen that were hosting it as being an e-collar workshop. So everybody was excited. There was probably close to 100 people there. Everybody wanted to know, what is this magical thing that Bart does with the e-collar that makes his dogs so motivated and so precise? And there were a variety of different dogs there. Not all of them were competition dogs. And we got through all of day one of a 2-day workshop, and Bart never even picked up an e-collar at all. People had various training challenges with their dogs that they wanted to work through, and he was helping them to understand what those challenges were and how to fix it. But he never touched an e-collar. He talked about it a little bit here or there. Then, day 2, we're about halfway through the day, and still, he hadn't picked up an e-collar yet. And I remember it was during a break. I was standing next to him talking, and a woman came up and she said, "Bart, you know, I'm really enjoying this. I'm learning so much. But when are you going to teach us your e-collar method?" And he looked her dead in the eye. He didn't skip a beat at all, and he just said, "What do you mean? That's what I've been doing this whole time." And that was a really pivotal moment for me. It was still relatively early in my career. And, you know, if you watch, at that time there wasn't a lot on Facebook, but YouTube was a thing, and there's dog trainers on YouTube, and everybody always puts their best foot forward, and you're always wondering, what is this, man, for these dogs that I'm struggling with, what is the piece that I'm missing? There must be some technique or some method out there that I just haven't learned yet that I have to know. And I was really hunting for that. And I was really hoping, you know, when I went to this Bart seminar that I might learn something, some secret. And what really struck me about that moment is what Bart was really getting at is there is no magical method for this tool or that tool. It's just about good dog training. If you understand how to train a dog and you understand how an e-collar works, you put the two together. But an e-collar can't make up for poor dog training, period. So for me, that's when I realized that the real key was just going back to fundamentals and spending all of my time mastering the basic and fundamental skills of dog training. That's really all that matters, especially when it comes to teaching obedience. And so that really is part of what developed my overall style as a dog trainer, but very much my style when it comes to the electronic collar. It's not about methods, it's about principles. And so throughout this week, what I hope you guys take away from it more than anything else is not that you must use the e-collar exactly the way I do it, but that you have a deeper understanding of the principles that make good e-collar training work and the principles that underlie the situations where it doesn't work so that you know why, and that you can apply that to your own style of dog training because everybody does things a little bit differently. I hope you'll also be able to look at the various methods of e-collar training that are marketed out there, and again, be able to assess them and understand their merits, understand their flaws, and be able to determine where one individual's particular style or method of application of the e-collar may be appropriate for some cases and not appropriate for others. So this is really a principle-based workshop, even though I'll of course be showing you the specific ways that we tend to do things around here. Okay?